President Trump recently issued a 48-hour ultimatum to Iran, demanding that the Strait of Hormuz be reopened without threat. The demand is backed by a specific threat. If the 48-hour window closes, the United States will strike and obliterate Iranian power plants, targeting the largest facilities first. This escalation follows a month-long closure of the strait. This blockade has triggered severe global fuel shortages and a rapid increase in energy prices. These aggressive public terms directly contradict statements made just 24 hours earlier, when the president suggested the U.S. was close to meeting its objectives and considering a reduction in military operations. High-profile public ultimatums often serve as psychological tools to gauge an adversary's reaction. The response determines whether the superpower accepts a diplomatic concession or activates alternative, covert military plans. While the public narrative fluctuated, the physical reality on the water signaled a different strategy. Within hours of the initial announcement, the Pentagon deployed 3 additional warships to the region. These vessels were accompanied by 2,500 Marines, a force composition designed for complex ground or amphibious contingencies. Iran met this deployment with a counter-threat to strike U.S. and Israeli infrastructure, showing no signs of backing down despite the increased military pressure. This creates a scenario where traditional deterrence has stalled. Neither side can de-escalate without surrendering strategic leverage, locking both actors into a multi-domain standoff. The geography of the Persian Gulf funnels the majority of the world's maritime energy trade through the Strait of Hormuz. With thousands of tankers currently stalled, the struggle moves from conventional military attrition into a contest over the control of global logistics. This geographic leverage is the foundation of Iran's strategy, the doctrine of mutual assured economic destruction, or MAED. Instead of attempting to match the U.S. in military hardware, Iran is weaponizing the deep interconnectivity of the global economy. By controlling a single geographic choke point, a militarily outmatched regional power can effectively hold the global economic system hostage. Iran has identified a specific non-military target matrix to enforce this economic deterrence. This network diagram illustrates the intended strike radius. Targets include regional fuel and energy grids, alongside critical information technology systems used by America and Gulf allies. Targeting desalination infrastructure represents the most existential threat, effectively weaponizing the Gulf's primary water supply. This doctrine operates as a dead man switch. It ensures that if the regime collapses, it will drag global trade and regional stability down with it. The strategy is designed to force allied nations to apply diplomatic pressure on the United States as they seek to avoid a total economic and infrastructural collapse. Despite sustaining heavy domestic bombardment and the assassination of its top leadership, Iran's military maintains an unexpected operational tempo. U.S. and Israeli forces have already dropped over 5,000 pounds of bunker-buster bombs, targeting the command structures and air defenses intended to protect Iranian territory. Yet Iran successfully launched 2 coordinated intermediate-range ballistic missiles during the height of this campaign. The target was Diego Garcia, a joint U.S.-UK military base located deep in the Indian Ocean. This topographical map traces the 3,000-kilometer arc required to reach the base. According to Western intelligence, this strike should have been impossible. Iran long claimed its missile range was capped at 2,000 kilometers. This strike revealed a hidden capability exceeding known data by 50%. Missile delivery systems and nuclear enrichment programs frequently share the same secret industrial base. If years of intelligence failed to detect a 1,000-kilometer leap in missile range, the true state of Iran's uranium enrichment, often housed in the same hardened facilities, is now an open question. This pattern of unexplained capability extends to a precision strike near the Dimona nuclear research site in Israel. These strikes successfully bypassed Israeli interception grids, despite the severe damage recently dealt to Iran's own domestic radar and air defense networks. There are also contested claims that Iranian forces managed to target and shoot down an advanced U.S. F-35 fighter jet. This raises a critical question. How is a degraded military executing long-range targeting with such high precision? External factors offer a likely explanation. Chinese surveillance vessels have been tracked in the Arabian Sea, alongside active Russian intelligence networks in the region. This back-channel support, providing satellite tracking and radar data, dramatically improves strike accuracy without requiring direct foreign troop involvement. The mechanics of these strikes suggest a covert superpower axis is actively providing the intelligence infrastructure needed for Iran to maintain its operational tempo against sophisticated defenses. Beyond the military hardware, Iran is using the Strait of Hormuz to launch an asymmetric diplomatic campaign. The regime is applying a calculated policy of selective economic relief, allowing specific nations' vessels to pass through the blockade while maintaining a total shutdown against others. Official safe passage corridors have been granted to vessels from China, India, Malaysia, and Turkey. The most strategic addition to this list is Japan. This offer was made immediately after the Japanese Prime Minister visited the White House, where President Trump made a provocative reference to the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor. This is a geopolitical wedge. Iran does not need these nations to become allies. It only needs to create enough hesitation and doubt to fracture the international consensus against the regime. By manipulating targeted economic exemptions, an asymmetric actor can isolate a superpower and undermine a unified pressure campaign. The verified 3,000-kilometer missile range creates a new geopolitical reality. The majority of Europe now sits directly within Iran's threat profile. Israeli military command is currently using this data to urge European nations to abandon their neutrality and join the active war effort. As conventional options are exhausted, the conflict may shift towards surprise events involving chemical or biological agents. The most severe threat under the doctrine of MAID is the targeting of global internet routing via undersea communication cables. Severing these lines achieves widespread economic paralysis and global chaos with minimal conventional military engagement. The current standoff is a clash of doctrines. The United States relies on conventional brute force and alliances, while Iran frames its resistance as an ideological holy war for survival. The wealthy Gulf kingdoms are caught in a trap. Their infrastructure and regional wealth force them to participate simply to avoid total destruction. As the conflict matrix moves to kinetic strikes and total economic leverage, the influence of international law and the United Nations has been minimized. By weaponizing global economic interdependencies and leveraging their covert proxy alliances, a sanctioned and outmatched state has created a scenario where a global superpower is unable to force a conventional resolution.